You were told something as a kid. Work hard, get a good job, get a salary. And if you do everything right, everything they told you, you'll be fine. Here's the thing nobody tells you. The salary was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you working. Most people will spend 40 years inside this system and still finish behind where they started. Not because they were lazy, not because they made bad decisions, but because of a structural reason almost nobody explains. We're going to explain it today. If you've ever wondered why working harder doesn't seem to translate into financial progress, this channel is built for that question. Hit subscribe. That's all this is. Let me describe your Tuesday. You wake up before you want to, commute to a place you didn't choose, spend 8 hours doing work that mostly benefits someone above you, come home tired, check your bank account, feel vaguely uneasy about the number, go to sleep, repeat. Every few months, you get a review, maybe a raise, usually 3%, sometimes 4% if they really like you. Meanwhile, your rent went up 8%, your groceries cost more, your car insurance renewed higher than last year. You're running, but the ground is moving in the opposite direction. And here's the part that stings. You're not failing. You're doing everything right. You showed up, you performed, you hit your targets. And somehow, at the end of the month, there's still barely anything left. That quiet feeling that something doesn't add up, that's not you being ungrateful. That's you noticing something real.
So what's actually happening here? Most people assume the problem is personal. They spend too much, they didn't save enough, they made bad choices. But that's not the whole story. The problem isn't your discipline. The problem is the structure you're working inside. A salary is a linear system. You trade a fixed number of hours for a fixed amount of money. That's the deal. And it sounds fair until you understand what's on the other side of that deal. But the real problem isn't just how salary grows. The real problem is what salary is competing against. I'll explain that in a moment, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Before I continue, if you felt this quiet tension between working hard and actually getting ahead, drop "salary trap" in the comments. I want to see how many people recognize this. Here's the mechanism. A salary grows incrementally. Every year, maybe a few percent. In a good year, maybe more. Over a decade, you might double it if you're aggressive and lucky. Inflation doesn't care about your performance review. Inflation moves on its own timeline. It erodes the purchasing power of every dollar you earn. It costs more to live, more to eat, more to own anything. And that erosion doesn't stop because you got promoted. So here's what's actually happening in the background. Imagine your income is a train moving at 30 miles per hour. Inflation is a train on the same track moving at 25. You're ahead, but barely. And any time the economy shifts, that gap closes fast. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's a third train. Assets, stocks, real estate, businesses. These don't grow incrementally. They compound, meaning the returns generate more returns. Over time, the gap between salary growth and asset growth doesn't stay small, it widens dramatically. The person who owns assets isn't just getting richer in absolute terms, they're getting richer relative to everyone trading time for money, every year, automatically. Think about it this way. Your salary pays you once for every hour you work. An asset pays you whether you're working or not. These are not equal systems competing on a level field. One requires your presence, the other doesn't. Now, none of this is a secret. It's in every economics textbook. It's discussed in corporate boardrooms constantly. But somehow, it rarely makes it into the conversation about why you should accept the job offer or aim for the next title. That gap between what the system knows and what it tells you is not accidental.
This is actually the core idea behind the Escape the Salary Trap guide. The framework isn't about quitting your job tomorrow. It's about understanding the terrain first, how linear income, inflation, and leverage interact, so you can start making moves that actually change your trajectory.
Here's what I want to be clear about. This is not an argument for hating your job or for abandoning everything and betting it all on some startup. The goal isn't anger. The goal is clarity. Because most people who feel stuck in this cycle try to fix it with more effort inside the same system. Work harder, get a better title, negotiate for 5% instead of 3%. And those things have value, but they don't change the structure. The real shift is understanding that a salary is a starting point, not a destination. It's cash flow that funds a strategy. But if the salary is the entire strategy, the math doesn't work long term. The numbers are simply not on your side. Leverage is the variable most salary earners never build. Leverage is anything that produces a return beyond your direct time investment, a skill that scales, an asset that appreciates, a system that works while you sleep. Small amounts of leverage compounded over time change the trajectory entirely. And here's the quietly uncomfortable part. You don't need to be exceptional to build leverage. You need to be intentional. You need to understand what you're building toward and start directing small percentages of your income and attention in that direction. Most people never do this. Not because they can't, because nobody framed the problem clearly enough to make the solution feel urgent. Here's what most people will do after watching this video. They'll feel something shift slightly, nod along, and then tomorrow morning, alarm goes off, commute begins, routine resumes. That's not a criticism. That's just how most information gets absorbed. It passes through without changing behavior. But a small number of people will hear this and start asking different questions. Not, how do I get a bigger raise, but what am I actually building? And that question leads to the most important idea in this entire video, a principle that, once you internalize it, changes every financial decision you make going forward. Here it is. Every hour you spend only trading time for money is an hour you didn't spend building something that works without you. That's not motivational poster language, that's arithmetic. Time is finite. Leverage is the only mechanism that allows finite time to produce unlimited returns. The people who understand this don't necessarily work less, they work differently. They think about what each dollar they earn can be directed toward, not just what it can buy this month. That gap in thinking is the quiet advantage. Here's where we land. Your salary is not the problem. It's the assumption that your salary is the whole picture. The system is not rigged against you, but it is designed around a specific version of success, one that works well for the companies paying the salaries and less well for the people receiving them. Seeing that clearly is the first move. The second move is deciding what you actually want to build and starting to direct resources toward it. A small percentage of people who watched this video will look into this further. If you're in that group, the Escape the Salary Trap guide is linked below. It's not about quitting your job. It's about building the other side of the equation while you still have the income to fund it. Subscribe if this kind of thinking interests you. That's what this channel is. And if you're still here, you already know something most people don't. The rat who understands the maze doesn't resent the maze. He builds the exit.